남게타는 양배 신제 당제 이거 찾으신 분 고마워 그거자 디체도 얘는 찾으신 분 남주신 분 하다 수신 분 만으로와 남도령의 지우령도 공상주 조도 독재하는 거죠 오늘 사다게 삼았고.
For the benefit of all sentient beings, limitless in number as space is limitless, it is important to recognize one's own nature, Mahamudra. To do this, I decide here and now to follow the path without error, to take into experience the instructions of Mahamudra and complete their practice. With this motivation, which is the noble attitude of Bodhicitta, Rinpoche requests that we may listen to him.
다 가정 신의 손을 대대 다 봉쇄하래. 근데 방송시에봐라 방송시에봐 오늘당 근데 방송할 때는 이시다줘봐. 이미유에 나는 오늘 대다돼. 다음에 쓰나 양양 때베체 통에 되는 지진 하기를 통. 이미는 되나 태송 최반이 준내랑 랑기 시에봐쇼.
Now, to just quickly repeat where we are here, in our wish to recognize the basic nature, Mahamudra, it is the wish for actually putting that understanding into practice. And in more detail, it is the art of letting the mind abide that we have already finished, and now come to the recognizing the basic nature, or the seeing through the penetrating vision of Vipassana. And the verse here is related to the first part, which is the actual Vipassana, and following later is then a concluding clarification about Vipassana. So the actual verse says, again, looking again and again at the mind that is not to be seen, the invisible reality is seen vividly as it is. In this very state of having cut through all the doubts whether this reality is like this or not, may one's own being come to recognize itself error-free.
드는 지당 다 통서에 가서 즉디 드는 니수 신지 마로바 양다바디 마지바 서버 통하라 학원스다 하리를 통했어 마지바 지바메바 서버 무슨 거 통하라 지당 학원스다
방통을
니수 신지 마로 니수 신지 마로.
So what's the definition of this word Vipassana? Or seeing the special or genuine? It is, the meaning is that the genuine, unmistaken nature, the basic nature, is seen in a way that is itself free of any obscuration. It's a direct vision without any obscuration of the basic nature.
텐더의 니수 진지 마로바 양다바 통하라 되네 유 신의 공부 다 오늘 그거 바탕 대점도 맞아봐 신의 공부 좀 많이 봐 때문에 순간이 되는 진심으로 봐 챔베 라마 탐바다 때문에 뒤인dun에 때문에 슝룩 남바다 아니 내가 때문에 철바다 사배 시작 양다 벌제네 나왔는다 오늘 그거 봐.
Now, to talk about this Vipassana, which is to recognize the unmistaken basic nature in a vivid, error-free way directly, we need certain preconditions to make it possible. The cause of it is that the mind is able to abide in itself. Awareness abides in itself. Shamatha, as we have seen, is one condition, but not leaving it just by mere abiding. Secondly, we need to have properly obtained the instructions from those masters who have, in the lineage of transmission, gained realization about the meaning of those instructions. So listening to the stream of instructions that is handed down to us, and all the major texts that are related to that, this is the process of taking in the information properly. Secondly, we have to think over the meaning of those instructions, so that they really become our own certainty and conviction. And thirdly, then let ourselves get used to the meaning and understanding. By this threefold process of listening, reflecting, and getting used to it, our own intelligence boosts up, and this intelligence is needed here, together with the peaceful abiding, as a prerequisite for the genuine Vipassana.
Tene teng yang takbe tawa number takbe tawa ngondo masona tene tangong de toba jiwa de kala awa.
So if we are not able to establish the proper view, in the sense that we gain certainty about what is truly there and what is not, what is true and what is deception, if we do not gain this proper and clear view first, then it will not be possible that the realization of Vipassana and Mahamudra is done in our mind.
Tene teta tawa number takwa se lam yung yang tawa number takwa di kandeshi ga foku wa isna tene yang takbe shirak changden na medyen ba medyen na tembe shirak jigu.
So now, what is this correct point of view? The certainty about reality. This correct point of view is the intelligence, our own intelligence that arises from understanding the temporary meaning, the temporary teaching of the Buddha, and the definite, the ultimate teaching of the Buddha. So where the Buddha has taught in a way that first to introduce us to a subject in an indirect way, to understand that as what it is, that type of intelligence, and secondly, the intelligence of understanding what the Buddha said about what really is, definitely.
Tene teyang kansala medyen chula tobe tumba shirwa kansala medyen ba chula tamba sigwa medyen ba tena tamba namshila medyen ba ishila tamba changlen tana medyen ba medyen na tamba shiti samadi tatuki interne.
As the Buddha has said, there are four things that we should rely on, and four that we shouldn't. So he says, don't rely on the person, but on the Dharma. Don't rely on the word, but on the meaning. Don't rely on perceiving sense consciousness, but rely on primordial wisdom. Don't rely on the temporary introductory teaching, but on the definitive meaning.
Teyinduta ngedon samo sila yindu ngedon samo nisu tatuke tanda di jinji malu ba kongdu chu. Teyang to de dame de tawa tanda kuwa. Dame de tawa mena dame de tawa da mandel de gong kasu di jama yang kore tawa de mandela.
Now, those are the 4 points that the Buddha said that we should rely on, and that really make it possible to approach the ultimate definitive meaning. When in such a way the unmistaken view has dawned in our mind, the correct understanding of what really is, then this correct understanding and view always is related to the insight that there is no individual I or self. Correct understanding and view always goes together with the understanding of the absence of personal I.
남의 따와기 고아유 남의 따와기 칸에 시시나 양 대된도 냠발 샤네 마본나 콜레자와 주제에 예문으로 두고말.
Now, then it is not only the absence of the personal I, but it's also, in a wider sense, that within all what appears, we discover that there is no inherent being there. There's nothing behind there, there's no independent nature in whatever it is. So this understanding is always an integral part of the correct point of view. That means if first of all we are not able to understand that in whatever appears there is no personal I and no any independent nature at all, then secondly we are not able to rest in this understanding of absence of I and the absence of anything behind the appearance, then it is not possible that the correct realization of the genuine nature is born in our mind.
대답되는 기술면 날려보기 따와 동배 예시대 카다 장거 쇼니다 그러나 예시 맞지나 쓰기 당진 좋아해 따와 동배 예시 자체 전부도 그러고 따와 동배 예시대 냠벌 샤네 마고나 카이 따와로 쇼야 인가 누구송가 카다 장거 쇼님도 얘도 근데 거나 간들고 열어서나 되는 예시제 보고 되는 예시제 보고도 되는 예시 맞지나 책상에 가져 동바당 다음에 마당 당신이 맞고 가서 나나요 쓰기 당신 가지고 말해서 나도 그 가다 장발 쇼닌다 가야 나와 장발도 쇼야 내가도 그러나 이시 맞지나 쓰기 당신 좋아해.
So the great master of yogi Milarepa has expressed here in this context that the view is the primordial wisdom which is empty. It risks to get lost in just being mere words and chatter. If the certainty is not born in our minds about their meaning, then just mere words of absence of I and so forth will not liberate ourselves. That means then talking about emptiness, primordial wisdom, and the absence of I, and so forth, are just mere words as long as we haven't made any effort to really gain certainty about their meaning. If we aren't certain about where those words actually point to, what is the reality that is meant by that, then how can we expect that the mere words will liberate ourselves? Now that's the very reason why it is necessary to actually familiarize ourselves with the meaning of those words, to rest within, to train oneself in that which is meditation, by getting used to it, familiarize ourselves.
지당나도 세면 따서에 가서라 당신께 세번 지당 따서에 세번 진행이 되게 말해. 그러나 따서는 되게 수지 따와라. 근데 선 따와 지당도 나도
Now, the first line says, looking again and again at the mind which is not to be seen. Mind is not to be seen as an object of perception. So although the instruction always says, look at your mind, the way of looking definitely cannot happen as looking with a perceiving consciousness at a perceived object. So looking at the mind truly means a way of looking that is free from the split of perceiver and perceived.
따자당 따지 유연 대비 세모부 내로가 저는 라멘명아당 공중기 시락 공중기 시락다고 말해. 그러니까 퇴상기 시락으로 부르면 말해. 라멘명아당 공중기 시락이 나의 양도 때문에 처했어.
Here, looking into mind, not being trapped by the idea of perceived and perceiver, is actually the intelligence that arises from the process of familiarization or getting used to, or meditation. It's that type of intelligence that comes out of the process of familiarization that is originating with the instructions of our own main teacher.
대인도 다 지금 이거들아 통매 되는 지신하게 통세인도 따사당 따지 이련 대외에 니루고 있는 양발이 잡에 통사당 통세당 자외기 미술 등 지지마도 통화.
So now the second line that we come to says that which is not visible, the invisible reality is vividly, clearly seen as it is. What does it mean? It means that Now, based on the instructions of our teachers and our intelligence that arises from the process of getting used to it, looking at mind free from the split in perceiver and perceived, the nature of mind is seen directly, which in itself also is free from being perceiver or perceived.
대인도다 때는 유나마는 송반하시기 사실 투배 유명진 건강체나 상대는 주인이 사칭지 명세 공부하면서 유명한 송반과 사실 투배 유명진 차와 내로 신도 차와 뭔가 내로 신도 차와 인데스나 지금배기 투배 유명진 건강체나 상대는로 신도 더 담배게 내수 인데스나 지금배 상대 유명한 때문에 춘이 신도 사바를 춘이 신도 사바 인도님네 가라서나 뭐에 주유를 내고 말해 뭐에 주유를 만드나 춘이 사고 말해 뭐에 주유를 내배치나 춘이 신도 사바 뒤에서나 이제된배게 통사가 통세빠가 빠지고 공부 주유 많이 손들고
Now, then, in the fifth teaching of Maitreya, Buddha, which is called the teaching about Buddha nature, or Mahamudraprayer, it is said, because it is extremely subtle, it is not the object of learning. The genuine reality is beyond the scope of thinking. Dharmata, or the genuine being, is not the object of training, exercise of worldly beings, and so on. So here it means that the reality, the genuine reality of mind cannot be described in words. So whatever word we can learn and be the part of our study process, it is not directly giving us the recognition or insight into reality. And secondly, also the genuine reality is not something that by mere power of thinking we can understand directly. And thirdly, even the worldly exercise or meditation does not reveal the true genuine being. Our worldly perception, understanding and thinking and so on is always bound to the dualistic idea that there is something to be recognized in someone who recognizes. There is an object of perception and the perceiver, and so on. So within the scope of this understanding, the listening, the reflection and the exercise, true genuine reality cannot be revealed. So it says in the last line, the genuine reality, even by the exercise or meditation of worldly beings, that cannot be captured, and this also includes all the other types of intelligence that arise from listening, reflecting, and meditation. Now, coming to the third line, it says, in the state free of doubt as to whether reality is this or not. Here means that looking into our mind in a non-dual way and seeing the mind as something that is not to be captured in either perceiver or perceived in the dualistic split. At the same moment when this certainty arises, we are free from doubts as to whether this is the real nature or not. And she says, so this is still the process of dwelling in certainty. It's not the direct recognition yet, but it's the certainty that it almost can be this and not nothing else. It's got to be this, and by being free of doubts, you can dwell in that.
출범에 심진 내도 사동 총주 관임한테 라고랑게 셰 라고랑게 그런 하는 것이죠.
So, for that, then dwelling in this certainty, in the fourth line applies, saying, may the inner being, may the nature itself, or the inner essence, may the inner essence recognize itself in a way that is error-free. And so when I am able to dwell without any doubts in a non-dualistic way by looking at mind, in this state, then may the direct recognition be born of the nature of mind, which is the luminous clarity and emptiness at the same time. Clarity and emptiness inseparable. In a quotation from the Acharya Yeshe Nyingpo in his Two Truths of the Middle Path, it is said, free of concepts, or free of preconceptions, have examined and resting within, this is called by name emptiness. That there is nothing to see, this is the seen. This is referred to in the sutras as the most profound reality. And so when we are able to rest in a state free of preconceptions in any way, then abiding in that, this, what we understood as being totally beyond any concepts and ideas, this is just called by name emptiness. And that there is nothing to be seen in the way that normally we see as perceiver and perceived, that there is nothing to be seen, this is the seen. And this way of seeing is praised in the sutras as the ultimate, the most profound way. Now, there's a verse from the great yogi Milarepa, and explaining about the view, the meditation, action and result, and saying by nakedly and clearly looking, the essence is seen beyond and free of preconception, like the open empty space. Then resting within, without interference, there within, the true genuine being, the nature, is unveiled. It is revealing the empty essence of whatever appears around, and then being relaxed within that, staying relaxedly within all that. I found my own place and seat within the stream of mindful awareness. The mud and the transparency separates, completely casting away everything. Thoughts and memories are cut through, and the abyss of the 6 realms of existence is totally removed. This is to know my own mind as the Buddha itself.
Tinda ndona tatare mapula ekanito. Tindu maripe jibyo tanchale sosoran re Yeshe nyeba dondo dan tesom tamje chöyundu neshite tuwa. Tene midewe number topa. Midewe number topa tamje nepa royundu nepa rowas namju. Midewe number topa tamje rashingi yarjudu tene dewa chembo ma nyamba shatuwa. Ta tesumne tuwa.
Midewa smeta tuwa yuba.
O tadi gom jamna rewa tang madewe topa redoga na topa buya tesu madewe na roduwa. O tenje ke redoga number topa. Midewe na tote zene shiyundu dewa chembo nyamba shatuwa. 그런 감 말에
인터뷰한다고 예시
말이 비트바단타를 줄여서 이시니 되네 너도 같은 집에 전담 능신이 되네 뒤 예수 미디 고난에도 나도 미디와 통제 때는 시에 내가 참고를 한다 마셔.
Now then that's it basically, and it's no need to make much words about it. It's to say in short, it is the primordial awareness, free of the stains of any temporary mental obscuration, unstained, immaculate primordial wisdom. Secondly, it is to rest in the certainty that is free of exaggerations and preconceptions. And thirdly, it is that all the various expectations and thoughts of discomfort and so on are completely subsided at their own place and vanished into space. Means, first of all, it is the view of understanding that what reality all is about, it is just the basic awareness, primordial awareness, that is immaculate from the very beginning and always has been free from any temporary stains of our mental obscuration. And it's secondly, to rest in this certainty that it is exactly this, without any exaggeration, without any preconception. This is the process of the meditation or the training, to rest within the certainty. And thirdly, it is within this process that all our expectations as this to have a very good outcome, or our fear that everything may go wrong, that all those expectations and the ideas of discomfort and so on completely vanished in the vast expanse, been subsided at their own place, that finally the result is received without pain.
대신시 뭔가 대신시 바로 코를 대신 니강 양행데 운동 대신 니강 예시데 지강 되는 당이 렌데를 중이서 오늘을 된 것이 정도 된도 코를 대신 니 하거나 양하는 데가 형태라 코를 빵내 양하는 데가 누구 보면도 코를 니수 지진을 시나 코를 대신 니강 양행데 넘버 2가 소투 군도 넘버 4 소가 요가디 최근 내가 군도에서 다녔다 말해 군도의 정신 양다발 친지 마음과 시나 예시 군도 대신 니강 예시데 델라트는 직당 두마 로아 몽아 딱 같이가는 속에 다 통제가 잡아 당이 렌데베 때문에 미소저 통화 델라 춘이 또 넣어줄 수 있다 춘이 또 넣어줘 춘이 또 넣어줘 델라한테 다른 데가 방송이 시지가
So now, when we are able to dwell in this certainty that what really there is only primordial awareness of this world of suffering, is nirvana, beyond the sense of pain. The suchness of the mass of thoughts and preconceptions is the primordial awareness. To recognize these to be neither one nor many is called by name the wisdom that is aware of the reality itself. Now, that means that when we analyze this world of suffering, samsara, to find its true genuine nature, the suchness. And this suchness is not different from the suchness of the world beyond suffering, nirvana. Now, samsara and nirvana are equal in their basic nature. And this applies also to the mass of thoughts and habits that produce all those errors and delusions. Checked for what they really are in their basic nature, the basic nature of all those thoughts, of errors and preconceptions is not different from the basic nature of primordial awareness. So, what is this basic nature then? The suchness. To see that the suchness is neither one nor many. Free of this idea, this is the wisdom or the intelligence that recognizes reality. Okay, this intelligence is exactly what is meant here by the process of Vipassana. This is the awareness or wisdom or intelligence that recognizes reality as such, and this is Vipassana that we were talking about here all the time.
누구야? 다 제가 잘 넣었어요.
Maybe we just leave it at that.
근데 자, 저도 방송 뭐 하고 가는데 방송 시내야 뭐라고? 시내야 뭐하나 사장으로 방송 못나요? 방송도 2주 차로 2주 차서는 방송 뭐라 말해? 지난 방송 전이가 제야라 요한 조절项目도 보고도 그러나 요한 조절项目이 요한 조절项目 제와다는 방송 전이가 그냥 가다 나도 하고 시내나 야고 거나 그런 계획으로 방송지 와라 내가 그마도 시내나 시라 땡차면은 기능 방송을 보고 말해 그래서나 다음에가 또 고아 유나양甚至 기본은 내가 인증점에는 인도 그냥 니술 진짜 말로 세고 통도야가 지지기요 그러나 아주 주면다 보이나 주면 지방판은 세고 유나양 루프 정도잖아 주면 세고 유나양 여기 한번 한게 뭐 당기 세고 통도는 거 와. 등하신기 미도고 등인지 양하고 맨나 근데 미수 시지 먹고 통도 시랑 요장 미도고 등인지 내가 때문에 남도 요새 등도 거기에서 세고 통하고 되어되네 내가 한번 걸어 방송으로 지나 진행 개차.
So, to talk about exercise now, there isn't really anything that we could meditate as getting used to Vipassana here. We can't really catch it, so we can't familiarize ourselves with Vipassana, because just now we say we want to make meditation of Vipassana is just concept. First of all, we have to gain some mental stability in peaceful abiding. And the true, genuine Vipassana only arises in the path of junction. in the fourth part of it, which is called the supreme Dharma, the supreme quality of this world. Just before the path of seeing, there the true, genuine Vipassana arises. And before that, it is good that we make ourselves get used to peaceful abiding. Then later it will be easier that the genuine insight is formed. And it is said that even if we, right here now, we were totally clear and convinced about that in all the appearances of this world there is no personal I, and there is no independent thing behind any appearance at all. Even if we were totally clear about that, have a good understanding about reality, but our awareness is not able to abide one quantity, still we will not clearly recognize the reality. Why? Because even with the light of understanding that is like the flame of a butter lamp, if that flame is moved too much by wind, we cannot see the things clearly around. Because the light is so unstable, it's flickering. What we need is to have that samadhi or absorption state that is free of any wild thoughts and concepts, compared with the understanding. So if we don't have that samadhi of being free of thoughts, then it will be not possible by the mere power of understanding to clearly recognize reality.
근데 띵인제 자라망고 띵인제나 다 장가 체면 망고요래. 근데 띵인제 망고 대두상 저는 하고 상하도지 되는 다 지rin다 돌나 소리나면 통제양 싸워 뒤시하니라 두거래. 그리고 신내야 보면은 방송하고 용도가 가버려. 방송하고 보면은 근데 띵인제 고 망고로 중앙 지하가 수발아요. 근데 야고 용도도 대야 보면은 근데 상하도지 되기가 지rin다 돌나 소리나 미리만 되고 야고 용도 말이야. 근데 싸워도 다 무심해 계신 거.
그래서 진님이는 고담이다.
중당 제도로 반주에 나 소금 중당만 보지요. 어떻게 좀 이제는 더 저런 거 소거든요. 나도 뭐 띵도 지당 신에대 지당 통문 그거도 와. 치로 발라내 이거래. 치로 발라내 신에 거 이거래. 이나야 하나라서 탑 말아와 제가 두고 가고. 띵도 고 띵도 꾸지 고라고. 띵도 꾸지 고라고 신에 찾고.
그래서 지당 개인선배 페라디가고.
저저저
Although a great variety of states of mental absorption, samadhi, are described, what they all have in common is that they are marked by peaceful abiding and the deep insight, shamatha and vipassana. However, without having the initial capacity to let mind abide in mind, peaceful abiding, we're not even able to enter those states of samadhi, or to go from one state to another. And we're not able to proceed along the path of Vajrayana with the stage of letting arise the deity and letting dissolve it. All those various steps of the practice require an initial capacity of letting mind peacefully abide in itself. So the beginning of every training should be some practice of shamatha.
뭐야? 다 저거 되는 제잖아.
It's like